Hi, my name is Brian Hersher, and I have never before been to Egypt. I was not sure what to expect. As we drove around Cairo, we visited various mosques. The citadel was erected by Muhammad Ali, the first king of Egypt, as a tribute to himself. The French, who had recently received a large obelisk for the Place de la Concorde in Paris, decided to give a gift back to Egypt in the form of a clock. That doesn't work. Cairo is known to have 5,000 minarets and approximately 2 million drivers who received their licenses at a Walmart. There are no traffic laws to speak of. We then went to the Ibn Tulun Mosque. It is the oldest surviving mosque in Egypt, dating back to the 9th century. Its minaret is one of the most recognized landmarks in Cairo, and it has a very unique shape. A view from the top yields a skyline with unfinished buildings and satellite dishes atop them. You see, if you can show that your building is unfinished, you pay lower taxes than a completed one. After a near-death experience in the van, we arrived at the site which Egypt is most famous for, the Pyramids of Giza. They are larger in real life than in pictures, with a single block being taller than the average human. We were then forced to ride camels. Yes, forced. They're a bit bumpy, and the downhills make one feel as though they're about to fall off. As a word of warning, young boys will hit the front legs of the camel with a stick, forcing them to buckle under, so you are in a very precarious position, about to slide off the camel into a mound of spit and poop, unless you tip the little bastard. We then ventured to the Sphinx, which unlike the pyramids seems a bit smaller in real life. We were then involved in a high-speed chase involving a white Hyundai that repeatedly cut us off and kept braking as if it wanted to be hit. The security guard at Reich checked the clip of his Uzi, locked it in place, and was prepared to fire upon the Hyundai, which promptly faded away. This only led way to more traffic difficulties. I decided I had had enough of this and told the family that I would walk back north to the airport and wait for them to finish this silly vacation. And with that, I embarked on a great journey, evidently taking a different route than we had come on. I found Karnak and Luxor temples. Karnak has more than 100 columns, and all of them are huge. Egyptian temples seem to be riddled with phallic symbols, an Enzyte commercial waiting to happen. Some of the artwork even has its original color from 3,000 years ago. This is an ancient Egyptian feat second only to the fact that they discovered beer about 2,700 years before Milwaukee. I continued on my trek, believing that I had perhaps made a slight wrong turn, but pressed on knowing it wouldn't be long before I could hear the noise of landing aircraft. I found the Valley of the Kings, where a lot of the ancient pharaohs are buried in individual tombs, each of them unique from the next. Across that ridge lies another famous site, the Temple of Queen Hatshepsut. I pressed on, realizing that I can't miss my flight or risk being stranded in Cairo indefinitely, a prospect I would rather avoid given the lack of Otis Spunkmeyer mini-muffins in this country. I found a more lush region on the banks of the River Nile. Along with that, the Philae Temple, which was actually moved from its original location following the building of the Aswan High Dam. It is situated on an island, forcing the ancient Egyptians to tip Nubian boat people who sold them postcards and ferried them across the river to the temple. It is dedicated to the god Isis, and remained an important site until about the 7th century when Roman emperors laid down the law on the worship of Egyptian pagan gods. For me, the heat was becoming unbearable. It was in excess of 112 degrees with only a slight breeze. Not knowing my geography of Egypt well, I arrived in the city of Aswan. Now, I've been known to get lost in the mall a few times, but that reputation is outdated, I thought. Yet, I was very confused. The heat was causing me to hallucinate. Things were not really as they seemed, were they? The fog was closing in, and the unreal became real. I had somehow managed to end up within 200 miles of Sudan, a long way from the airport. Fortunately, I found an overnight train that would take me to Cairo's Giza station. The train was decent, but a bit bumpy. Was it better than Amtrak? Of course. Even camels can claim that. But at times I feared the train would fall off the rails. Food and drinks were provided, and nothing says, "Congratulations, idiot, you're in southern Egypt," like a warm can of local beer. The train pulled out of the station at breakneck speed, rivaled only by a camel with dysentery. I had not been able to shave for the last few days, and it was time to fix that on the train. However, I had not planned on it being as unstable and rocky. As it turns out, it is possible to cut oneself with an electric razor, or perhaps it was the flip-flop in the can of beer that did the damage. My inability to navigate led me through thousands of years of Egyptian history, and I learned a great deal. So just remind yourself, a straight line is the shortest distance between 2 points, but a very long route in the opposite direction will bring you close to heat stroke. Stay hydrated out there, and shukran for watching.
Quello porto